Start. Very good morning, one and all present in this gathering, live webinar. Thank you, Anand, for showing us the pictures taken by the young amateur photographer Dhruv Patil. Now, I would like to request Dr. R.V. Kulkarni, sir, Administrator BLD Association, to welcome this gathering. Over to Dr. R.V. Kulkarni, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Murgesh Patil. Good morning, you all. Honorable President of BLD Association, Dr. M.B. Patil, sir. Srimati Asha Patil, madam. Today's key speaker, young dynamic leader, Mr. Dhruv Patil. Event coordinators, Dr. Murgesh Patil Shetty, Dr. Chidanand Bahati, and Mr. Anand Patil. All the administrators, principals, HODs, faculty members, dear students. I heartily welcome you all to this Dr. C.R. Bidri Memorial Wildlife Webinar today. Friends, today is the 8th death anniversary of Dr. C.R. Bidri. Dr. Bidri was one of the senior most doctors and former dean of our BLD Sri B.M. Patil Medical College. He had academic qualifications to practice over 5 specialties, starting from pediatrics to neurology. He was a great athlete also. He used to run with Milkha Singh and was selected to represent India in the Rome Olympic, but unfortunately he did not attend due to sudden polio neuritis attack. His father, Sri Ramappa Bidri, was a freedom fighter and member of parliament from the Vijaypura. Dr. C.R. Bidri, even with his ailments, served the needy people of Vijaypur until his last breath. Every year, in the fond memory of Dr. C.R. Bidri, BLD Association organizes BLDA's inter-school and collegiate athletic meet on 2nd February. But this year, it was not possible to organize due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Hence, today a webinar on wildlife has been organized jointly by Society for Protection of Plants and Animals, that is SPPA, Koti Vriksha Abhiyana, and BLD Association. Mr. Dhruv Patil is the today's key speaker, and he will also announce one photography competition on nature for students and staff of BLDA at the end of his talk. And I request all the staff and students of BLDA to enroll for the competition and win the exciting prizes. Friends, SPPA was started by young dynamic leader Mr. Dhruv Patil at an unbelievable age of 8. He is a younger son of our beloved President Dr. M.B. Patil. SPPA aims to inspire the next generation youngsters to conserve the environment and teach the mankind to coexist with the nature. Always SPPA lives with the theme by the youth and for the earth. SPPA is an asset example that how child with compassion and interest towards the environment at an young age can make the world to become a better place. SPPA so far has rescued over 20 animals, adopted 6 animals from Mysore Zoo, and successfully conducted over 12 programs to reach more than 10,000 people in Karnataka and helped over 8,000 animal lives. Events such as Feed the Strays, where more than 6,000 stray animals have been fed during the lockdown period and in 12 cities in Karnataka. Another organization, Koti Vriksha Abhiyana, is a campaign to plant 1 crore trees in Vijaypur district. The project was initiated by Dr. M.B. Patil in the year 2016. The plan is to expand the forest coverage in the Vijaypur district from the existing 0.17% as high as 4 to 5% to convert the drought Vijaypur into the greener land and more rainfall, cooler temperature, and to build a more sustainable atmosphere in Vijaypur. It is one of the biggest and most efficiently driven green projects of the country. Dr. Murgesh Patil Shetty is leading these projects. Friends, BLD Association is one of the century-old premier educational organization in the northern part of Karnataka, established in the year 1910. 3 architects of this BLDA are Vachanapatamaha Dr. P.G. Halkatti, Pujya Bantrala Mahaswamiji, and late Sri B.M. Patil. BLD has just started with 1 school in the SS campus, and today it has grown like a banyan tree under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable President Dr. M.B. Patil. BLDA family includes more than 4,500 staff members and 25,000 students in the sprawling campuses spread across the two districts of Vijayapura and Bagalkot with the state-of-the-art facilities. Friends, for this webinar, we have the blessings of Honorable President Dr. M.B. Patil sir and Srimati Asha Patil madam. Now let us hear a few words from our Honorable President for this seminar. Thank you.
Start.
February 2nd, on the occasion of death anniversary, late Dr. C.R. Bidri, Chandrasekhar Ramappa Bidri, who had been one of the most popular and senior pediatric surgeon in this area of Vijayapur, Patil, Northern Karnataka. So, on his memory, we are celebrating this webinar regarding wildlife, photography, nature, for the young minds, particularly the school students of the area association. BAD earlier also had photography sessions for when there was a famous Deshwara Jatra, and the moments of Jatra also were covered under the photography as well. Now, Dhruv Patil has been instrumental for this webinar, and he is very fond of wildlife, nature. He has been to Kabini several times and have captured many wildlife creatures who was there, the tiger, and more importantly, the black panther, and so on. I too also had joined him a few days before in Kabini and joined the safari to have a look at the wildlife over there. And I could sight some tigers and all this. It was a great experience over there. So overall, the future generation, the children, have to develop interest in nature, because nature is one thing, it's the most beautiful thing in this world, and with nature we survive. There has to be a perfect harmony amongst all creatures, whether it is apart from the mountains, the rivers, the trees, as well as all the creatures. We have to coexist in this nature for now and for future. So, children have to develop passion about the nature. They have to develop interest about the nature, the wildlife, the rivers, the mountains, the trees, the forests, etc. And this wildlife photography, also along with the photography of the nature, I think will create an interest amongst youngsters, the children, about the wildlife and the photography, wherein you can have a lot of, once you develop an interest, you will have a lot of passion for it, and you can become great photographers, known nationally, internationally. And I wish this photography session, this webinar, a great success, and the fond remembrance of late Dr. C.R. Bidri, the pediatrician. He was also very passionate about the nature, the wildlife, and he was a very nice human being, always smiling and available to help the people. So, on his remembrance, this wildlife photography will be the webinar will be a great success, and I hope a lot of people will get inspiration from this wildlife photography. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring words on this occasion. When I say inspiring means you mean it, sir, and I mean it, these words, whatever you spoke on this occasion. We have seen you, last few years, the kind of the massive projects on Koti Vriksha Abhiyana. That was a true inspiring for entire Vijaypur district, not only Vijaypur district, entire Karnataka, I can say that. Once again, thank you very much, sir, for your valuable speech. Now, let us listen to some words from Asha Patil Madam on this occasion of wildlife webinar. Over to Asha Patil Madam.
Good morning. I welcome you all today to the webinar of as a tribute to late Dr. C.R. Dippy held by PPA. I welcome all the faculty members, the fraternity of the LA institution and all the students. Dr. C.R. Dippy today is being remembered for his service as a doctor to the whole Bijapur district. He was super specialized on the medicine, super specialty in medicine, pediatrics and dermatology. He was a sportsman too. He was an athlete who was a runner with Milkha Singh and wanted to participate in Rome. He served as a chairman in SSI school, as a SSI school chairman and as chairman for all the high schools in the LD institution. And he also served as a dean to medical college once it started in 1986. And I would like to introduce him, the other personality of Dr. late C.R. Dippy. He loved nature, he loved animals, and he was passionate about getting all the plants. He came from the background of agriculture. My grandfather was an agriculturist and a renowned politician. So my grandfather was also fond of animals, and since he was an agriculturist, he always had cattle at home, buffaloes, sheep, horses, and he always fed cattle wherever he went, and he was known for this character. His cattle were known in the whole Bijapur district, Bijapur and Bagalkot district. So coming from that, even my father, as I grew up and even my father had buffaloes at home, cattle at home, we always fed birds, we always fed street dogs and cats. We always had a love and passion to the dogs and animals on the streets, and even the cows we used to feed. So that's how, that is the personality of Dr. C.R. Dippy is. And this is what I want to discuss with you students, that the characters have to be multiple when you are growing up. It's not just this stage is only a gadget related development what you are getting into. Whatever you want to communicate, you communicate only through the gadgets. Whereas the personalities who have given so much to the society in earlier days, you can do it much more better with your gadgets. You can use your gadgets and understand the environment and what environment can be preserved in a healthy way. We already have faced this whole year with COVID, and the COVID has taught us so many things. Protect the environment, keep the environment clean, grow trees, take care of animals, feed animals, take care of them, protect them, save them from getting abused. And my father was a great traveler. He used to travel to hill stations and collect all the species of plants and trees. And I think most of them were found in our house. Dr. Bidri was so keen on the gardening, and he used to see all the species are planted properly, and we saw most of the botanical species in the garden and the college. The BLD Science College was very much interested to see these species in our place. And in 1972, I think somebody on the Facebook few days back posted saying that in 1972, Champaka flower, that is Kenda Sampige, was found only in Dr. C.R. Bidri's house, which used to flower all 12 months. So that was a passion for his passion for the trees and plants everywhere. He was a nature man. He was a nature man. He liked traveling. He liked traveling to hill stations. He loved watching trees grow up. He was always a jovial person, always ever smiling, and always that brought the spirit in all of us. Good morning.
True, madam. The contribution of Dr. C.R. Bidri sirs in the various fields like sports and as an academician, as a nature man, as an animal lover, is a truly an inspiring personality for all of us and even future generation too. Thank you very much, madam, once again for your kind words. Now, the icon of today's event, or I can say the resource person of today's event. Let me introduce you all to the host of this webinar, another student like most of you, a future student of New York University in the United States of America, the host who will explain to you all about the jungle and its animals, wildlife photographer with over 7 years of experience in the field, featured by many new articles and Nikon India itself. More importantly, a wildlife lover like his ancestor, Dr. C.R. Bidri sir. Now I request Dhruv to take over. Over to you, Dhruv now.
Thank you so much, Murugesh sir. Lovely introduction. I'm honestly flattered. A very good morning to all the students, BLDA faculty and BLDA fraternity. I welcome you heartily to this webinar, a webinar on a very special day and a webinar about a very special topic. So let us begin by addressing the context of the day. So today is the day we celebrate Dr. C.R. Bidri. Today is the day we celebrate a personality of him which is unseen by others. So for many, Dr. C.R. Bidri has been a crucial doctor. He has been a principal. He has been an administrative dean. He's taken care of institutions, but there's this other side of him which I guess only I could see. And I honestly thank the BLDA faculty, you students in the fraternity for giving me this opportunity to showcase this, because it's not only special for the BLDA team because of his contribution, but for me as his grandson and his family. So Dr. C.R. Bidri always loved dogs. I have pictures when my mother was a girl, when she used to play with her dogs in her house in Bijapur. Whereas these pictures might have been taken 3 or 4 decades apart, like 30 to 40 years apart. But I think the affection towards animals runs in the blood and through the generations. I too am a dog lover, and you can see the resemblance in the two images. And through generations, we have always had dogs, and now we have over 12 dogs and 6 birds in our house. So today we want to cherish this other side of Dr. C.R. Bidri, the animal lover, the nature enthusiast. And we want to share this affection with you, the students of BLDEA, the students who can bring change to the world, the students who can learn nuances about photography. So without further ado, let's move into the more deeper topic, the root, which is the jungle. So I always like to think of the jungle as two things. In terms of a more general perspective, how the world sees it, the jungle is either a place where people go to get fresh oxygen, relax, see trees, breathe, maybe get some rest. And for others, you can start a career there. It's a window for opportunity. Go in with your camera, start taking pictures, explore the trees, see the diverse fauna, enjoy the animals, and then click pictures, post them on social media, even become part of the forest department to take care of the forest. And that becomes a new career prospect, career opportunity for you. And that is something we can always develop, hone, become a photographer, shoot documentaries. And my vision is somewhat similar, but is a combination of more sorts. So I hope all of you students have seen The Jungle Book. You've read about Mowgli, The Jungle Book, Bagheera. And for me, whenever I go into the jungle, that is all what I think of. It might sound funny as it is, but I think of myself as Mowgli. Imagine me just going into the jungle, a teenager just into the jungle, enjoying nature. I want to be Mowgli. I want to live in the jungle, not, switch between Bangalore and Kabini, but, maybe stay in Kabini, go into the actual jungle book, interact with animals, if I can somehow, speak with them. I mean, it's all a dream, but what we do through wildlife photography, through going for safaris, through being into the forest is somewhat similar and giving you the same vibe as to being Mowgli in the Jungle Book. For me, it began in 2013. Yes, I know. The difference from me then to now is quite the contrast, but that is where it began. When I was just 10 years old, I was a huge bird lover. I used to go see birds all around Bangalore, and then my mother took me to Kabini in 2013, and that's where I was lost. Like into the jungle, I literally lost my soul inside, and that is when I actually figured, right? That's where my heart belongs, right? I want to do something there. And I remember I had a P900, a very small camera with good zoom. So I used to take that, and first 3 years, only birds. Like I only saw birds, no leopards, no tigers, and Black Panther was not even there yet. So only birds, and then I used to take photos. And I used to go crazy over birds and deer, and that's how it evolved, right? I got to see the holistic perspective of nature. I got to see the entire bird species, and I'd memorized the Birds of the Indian Subcontinent book by the Inskip brothers back in 2015. So that is how my passion today to where I am now as a photographer has evolved from this very day, my first trip to Kabini. Okay, enough about me. So now let's begin on what I'm going to tell you about what the safaris are like. How do you go into a safari? What do you expect in a safari? So this is basically Kabini, and this is your safaris in Kabini. So you go into either a jeep or a bus with either 8 or 16 people, and you just go in there. Basically, I am in my Kabini attire, always camouflage, green clothes. Something, it doesn't really matter because you're anyways in a car, but sometimes the elephants in the jungle may not like bright colors. So that's why you always wear camouflage color. All the jeeps are green. And so how it works in Kabini is there's one resort called Jungle Lodges or River Lodges Kabini, which is by the government. They host all the safaris. So you go to Jungle Lodges and you get into your jeep with your driver and a naturalist. And so there are 2 zones in Kabini. So there is A zone, which is to the right, and then there's B zone to the left. A zone is more, the Black Panther and, a more land territory. And then you see something called B zone, which is the Kabini backwaters. The river backwater of Kabini from the Kabini Dam flows into the backwater, and there you have more elephants and sometimes tigers, otters in the B zone. So Kabini has these 2 zones. You'll be assigned to either for a safari. And if you guys are going to Kabini anytime, you should really try both zones, 2 safaris. And Kabini is the real Jungle Book, from Black Panthers, tigers, leopards, everything in Kabini. So that is how your safari works. And you take a camera with you. The camera cost is somewhere around 600 per camera. And you need to take permission and you need to go in. And how Kabini is that, so in a safari, what do you generally do? So for me, in a safari, right, the most important thing, if you're a bird lover, you're going to see tons of birds. You're going to see woodpeckers, egrets. But then comes the rare animals. You want to see the big cats. You want to see the tigers, the leopards. Let me tell you guys, because I'm sharing this personally with you BLDA students, the one thing you wait for is something called alarm calls. 2 animals, deer and langur, which is the monkey in Kabini. So the deer and langur, if they see a big cat, a tiger or a leopard, then they give a certain kind of call. That is called an alarm call. If a langur or a deer give an alarm call, then there's definitely a tiger around. A tiger or a leopard, or to your luck, even a black panther. So always when you go for a safari, remember one thing: camouflage clothes and alarm calls. The two most important things in a safari. As I said, the real life Jungle Book. You might see Shere Khan to the left and a more colored version of Bagheera. And you had tigers, leopards, elephants, everything you've seen in the Jungle Book. Sloth bears to, birds, storks, the vipers and pythons and everything in Kabini. So these are some of my images. There is Khal, the biggest male of Kabini. And then the very old leopard. So the leopard, if you see in this, his name is Stone Ears. He hasn't been seen in the past 2 years. This picture is maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And he's very old. He's 13. I think he's no more. But so it's memories you create with these animals. It's the bond you create. And especially through your lens, just clicking an image, it's an entirely different communication with nature. So apart from the Black Panther, which receives all the media attention and everything, there are some more interesting things I've seen. So if you ask me if the Black Panther is my favorite image, I'd say maybe, maybe not. Because the image here, why I've made a separate slide for it, this is one of the most rare images I've ever seen. 3 tiger cubs, only 2 months old. These are tiny tiger cubs, just open their eyes, and the mother. So this is in a tank called Nayanji Katte in Kabini. So 3 tiger cubs, first time ever spotted for any safari. So we were the first people to see these, and it was a dream come true. I mean, I wasn't expecting to see tiger cubs just 2 months old, and it just came into it was like too much to take. I was overwhelmed at that time. And so I'd say this is easily one of the best images, because all the three cubs and the mother are just looking at me, and it was surreal. The experience is just too good. Apart from Kabini, let's move away where I've been internationally. So photography has taken me places, and thanks to the resources I have, I've been able to travel to Kenya, Masai Mara, and actually see lions, cheetahs are completely different from Kabini trees, the evergreen trees, rainforest, to savanna, only grass. You can see a lion from maybe a kilometer away, and you can say, yeah, there's a lion there. So that was completely different, and the animals are super close to you, not scared. Whereas in Kabini, usually leopards and stuff run away if the jeep is too close. But in Africa, everything is so open, so nice, a completely different vibe. And that's how you can see the difference, right? Between these images where the leopard is far and everything. Whereas here, I'm literally able to get into the face of every animal, and that's how clear Africa is. So I've been able to go to Africa, and that's something I'm really proud of. And this is a very special image to me. I'll be showing you guys how to edit photos also soon. This is all about you guys, and I want to give you guys whatever I know, right? Africa, Kabini, photography, editing, everything. So this is something I took almost 2 days to edit, because if you see, it's a normal image. It's green, and it's if you see the lion cub here, it's the same amount of green around that lion. But then with the help of a good camera and a good lens, I was able to zoom into every hair of the lion and then create a perfect, a bokeh effect, a black bokeh around the lion. And that is something that I think this is one of my best edits, not one of my best pictures, but one of my best edits for sure. So now, the thing that everyone likes, the thing that everyone's been waiting for, the Panther Diary. So in 2016, I heard about the Black Panther. He came in 2015 from Kerala. And Kabini has one Black Panther, just one. His gene is recessive. So Black Panthers are a reason because there's this gene compound called melanin, which makes skin color dark or white. So in Black Panthers, the melanin compound is recessive. And because of that, they call it the melanistic leopard. So it's a leopard, but black in color. So there's only one Black Panther, the one everyone's behind. If you guys have heard Shaz Jung, Mithun Photography, Shannon Wild, all of them, they they've been tracking this panther, and I've been no less since 2016. I've spent over, I guess, now around 13,000 odd minutes tracking only the black panther. The next slide that I'm going to show you is kind of funny because it's called the Loop of Death. That is why you see the only black panther of Kabini. So the Loop of Death is basically the territory of the black panther, and I've gone there so many times. I've done so many safaris. I think I've done over at least 100 safaris. So I know exactly the route where the panther lives. And the only thing you do when you go to Kabini is just do that one loop if you want the panther. That's all I've been doing since 2016. And now I shall present that to you. So, okay, and let's begin with, here is something called power line. Okay, this is where you kind of enter the panther territory. Here you go, and then there's a small water hold called KV tank. So KV, this spot is where the panther's territory begins. From here to everywhere beyond is the panther territory. So then from KV, you take a small road in to a big lake called Bisalwadi. So Bisalwadi is one of the biggest lakes in the forest, never dries up even in summer. So this is Bisalwadi, and this is again a very popular, the panthers don't come here because of tigers, but then this road is very important for the panther. So you go from Bisalwadi all the way to the main panther road. So if you've heard Shah's Jung, if you heard my post, if you've seen me on Instagram, Dhruv Patil photography, that is, and there's this one road called Kaimara. Sorry for that. And Kaimara. Excuse my handwriting. Any medical students here, doctor handwriting, you can relate. So excuse my handwriting. And so this is Kaimara, the main road for the panther. He's spotted 90% of the times only on this road. And then there's this road in the back where there's a stream. There's a dam here and a stream called Barballe. And Barballe is again the core area of the panther. So the panther's seen in 1 week, let's say, he's seen 3 days in the tourism zone in this part, in this entire map. And then he's seen for 4 days into the core area. So if you go here, this is the Wayanad forest, Kerala. You're not allowed to go there. This is Karnataka and this is Kerala. So you're not allowed to go to Kerala. You're only allowed to stay in the Karnataka borders. So then there's Barballe here. And from Barballe, there's a road that goes back to KV, where there are 2 water holes over here. And this is where, if you've seen my Instagram again and the next pictures, this picture, he was seen exactly here. There's a tree here. He climbed up here next to the water hole. He walked with us, came back, went here, and it was on the way to KV. It's a road called Balle, and this is where he was seen. So this entire circle you see here is called the Loop of Death. It's in summers you're going to die, and Shaz calls it the Loop of Death because in summers this entire stretch is around 35 degrees and you need to do 3-4 loops waiting in the sun, and literally you're going to faint. It's that bad, but all worth it to see this guy, this spectacular panther. I mean, I can do anything. I've done so many trips, but I can do anything just to see this guy again and again. He's magnificent, the best, God's creation. I don't know how magical it is. And so with the panther, of course, that magnificent creature made by God, came its media hype and craze. So once I told my story to a couple of people, the news channels picked it up. They were like, we want to feature you. And I've been featured in the Indian Express, Times Now, News 18, French News 24, India Aaj Tak, and so majority of the channels have covered this panther sighting, and it went viral on Instagram because it was with Shaz Jung, and majority of the celebrities started, they started communicating with me because of this one thing. And I guess it was a blessing in disguise seeing the panther, the black cat that everyone dreams to see. So that is what I wanted to share with you guys, the panther territory, which hope you guys saw, and hope you guys, if anyone's going to plan to go to Kabini or Dandeli, get to see some black panthers, and you become the next Shah's Jung. Who knows? Anyone and everyone has an opportunity here. So the time I considered myself an official photographer is when Nikon India actually featured me, because I've been a Nikon user for the past, since my first camera was a Nikon, and my camera right now is still let me get it out. It's still a Nikon Z7. Of course, not the same camera, but always a Nikon user, and so it's still fresh from my Kabini bag. And Nikon featured me, the Nikon India official page, and that was like a dream come true, because not a lot of people get the opportunity to be there, and for me to just get there and be a part of Nikon's family is incredible. So one day I hope all of you guys, whoever's doing photography after this webinar or whoever has been doing it, gets an opportunity to take your photography talent to another level. And I'll do whatever I can to help you guys. So my Instagram there is Dhruv Patil Photography. You can see it down. If you want to message me any doubts about photography, anything about photography, you can let me know. And I'll be always there to help. And we'll be answering a few questions after the webinar as well. But eventually, right, maybe in a year or two also, if you need help, always message me on my Instagram. And I'm always there to help. So that is the story of the unique, incredible Black Panther, who is shot by Shaz Jung, Nat Geo, and me as well. So I was in fact in Safari 3 days ago. 3 days ago, I was in Kabini, and I just came back 3 days ago, and I've spent 2 days in Bangalore, and I'm here in front of you guys, fresh with content. And this was last week when I rented a new lens. And if you can see, there's Shaz Jung there, sitting in front of me, guiding us to see the panther. No panther luck, but multiple leopards and tigers, and incredible. So much to learn from professionals like Shaz, right? And here are some pictures that I've taken last week itself. This guy is the Chimera male, the leopard there. He's the Black Panther's enemy, the main enemy in his territory. That's why the Black Panther has the, if you see, he has the scar on his head, right? That's caused by this mean guy, the leopard. So that scar is caused by this guy. The territory fights and fights for the females. Well, even animals have them. And so yeah, it's incredible that we got to see so many stuff. And the picture of the langur, which Shaz helped me photograph, negatively expose the image and click the image. So in your camera settings, there's something called exposure, and when there's light behind, you always negatively expose, so you get the silhouette, right? If you can see, only the hair, the rim of the langur has the light. So it was a really cool shot. I'll be explaining to you guys about that as well. And then the tiger and elephant in one frame. This is all from last safari. This is all 3 days ago, by the way. So very fresh. Only you guys have seen it. Don't share it anywhere. So Shaz Jung told me one thing, right, when I was on safari with him. So I was on safari with him last week, and he told me one thing, right? The panther always teaches him a lesson. So I just heard that, and I'm like, okay. It went on in my head for a couple of days, and after this safari, I didn't see a panther. I stayed there for 8 days. I did 12 safaris, no panther. The lesson that came to me, right, after Shah said it, is what the panther did this time is, when I didn't want to see tigers, I didn't want to see leopards. I'd seen enough tigers, I've seen enough leopards. But the forest didn't show me what I wanted to see, but what it wanted to show me. What everyone else didn't get to see, like tigers or leopards, I was able to see, right? And that was something that I learned. And the forest, the god, whoever's controlling it, nature, taught me that it's not always about one. It's not always about the panther, but it's about seeing the entire beauty of the forest, the tigers, leopards, and to cherish that. And that is what you see in this slide: the tigers, the leopards, and the langur. Okay, guys, here on YouTube chat, I'm going to pull up my phone, get the YouTube chat out as well. We have a coordinator with us, with the BLE faculty there, who will be, telling you who will be coordinating all the questions. And so now I'll be explaining to you guys about the camera equipment you see there. And if you guys have any questions about photography, please put it up on the YouTube live chat, and I will be answering the questions at the end of the webinar. So any questions you have about either the animals or about the photography equipment and the photography settings, please let me know about your camera or cost or everything. I'll be explaining everything, but in case you have questions. So let me begin. This is my lens for photography. I hope my camera is seen to everyone. Let me just ensure my camera is seen, and let's hope you all can see. If I can just ask the BLD coordinator to make sure my camera is also visible to the participants.
Yes, sir. The slide is pretty well visible.
Yes, sir. So basically, what you need in for wildlife photography is a big lens. So the lens you see on the camera there is basically the 200-500 by Nikon. So the Nikon 200-500 is one of the more basic zoom lens. It costs somewhere around the 70,000 range, and but you can rent it for much cheaper. You can rent a lens every day for 1,000 rupees. You can rent a 200-500. So that is where I started all my photography, with the 200-500. And my camera body, I have two. One for a wide angle, which is always necessary to take a picture of the entire jungle, the trees and everything, and one for the animals, which is a 200-500 if you want to zoom into the face and everything. So the leopard image, for example, was shot on 200-500. So always you can rent the lens for, I think, 1,000 to 3,000 rupees, and you can get one of the best bodies also for the same price, around 2,000. You can rent a camera, and yeah, you can rent lens, you can rent cameras. Everything is super easy. Again, as I said, message me on Dhruv Patil Photography on Instagram, and I'll be able to help you guys. So always have a camera that has good megapixels so that you can crop the image. So if the leopard is far, I'll be showing you a Lightroom. If the animal is far, you need to crop into the image. And there's something called a Tele Converter. You can see the small thing in between the lens there. It's called a Tele Converter. So the Tele Converter, what it does is it allows 2x zoom. So if your zoom is 500 mm, then your zoom becomes 1000 mm. So 500 to 1000, you can get so much closer to the animal. You're going to lose a little bit of background blur and this thing, but it still gives you zoom, which is more important in wildlife photography. So always try and keep a teleconverter handy. And these are the equipment, as I said, lens anywhere between 200 to 800 millimeters, which is suitable with your camera, DSLR or mirrorless body. And carry two cameras if possible, zoom lens and one wide angle, and higher megapixels, better crop. So if you guys have any questions about the equipment, please put it up on the YouTube chat, and our coordinator will tell it to me later at the end of the webinar, and I'll be answering them. Any questions, please ask me. I'm more than happy to answer today because I'm interacting live with you guys. So I'd love to hear from you guys. So just let me know if you want any questions. These are my camera, and this is something that I want to tell you guys, and I've told you about the camera equipment. Let's move on to settings. So there are many modes on a camera. There's manual, there's aperture, there's shutter priority, there's automatic. Always keep it in aperture mode so that you can only change aperture. So in wildlife, you can't shoot in manual. By the time you do your settings, your black panther will go inside and he'll never come out for the next 2 months, and it's your fault. So never shoot in manual. Just don't. So I can see one question. I can see two questions, which I'll just answer quickly because they're just small questions. Are there panthers in Dandeli by Vijay Hiremat? Yes, there are panthers in Dandeli. And there are more than in the entire world. Dandeli has the highest population of around 9. The 1996 census says that there are 9 panthers. But yeah. And then there's Pranesh Joshi, who's asking which is the best camera. Depends on you. Every photographer has his own comfort. For me, it's always Nikon. I can't use any other brand. And so always, for me, it's been Nikon. But I've heard the Sony is really good, but I'm a Nikon Z7 mirrorless user. Nikon is the way to go for me. So settings, keep it in aperture mode so that you can only change a light stop whenever you need, and lowest aperture always. So f4 is the great. So in a 200-500, it's always f5.6, or in a 600 mm, it's always f4. Always keep the lowest f point so that you get the best lighting and best depth of focus. So there's something called ISO in camera, which is your lighting, your sensitivity and your lighting. So always keep it 500 in your base, in your good light. If there's good sunlight, keep it 500. In dark, in the evenings or in early mornings, keep it somewhere around 1000 to even 5000. So just always keep a high ISO in bad light. If there's very less light, keep it high ISO. Low light, 300, 500, it should be good enough. So never shoot in manual again. There's exclamation mark. Don't. Never shoot in manual because you can't change all the settings in time. So someone had asked which app do I use to edit photos? Again, question by Vijay Hiremat. So yeah, and which app do you use to edit photos? Lightroom, as you can see, Lightroom. Okay, guys, everyone pay attention. Everyone's messaging on YouTube. Just for the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes, please pay attention to the screen. And I'll be answering more questions later, but just pay attention to the screen now because I'll be teaching you how to edit few of my pictures. So if you guys are ready, let's move on. And here we are, Lightroom. I hope my screen is visible. Can someone from the BLD faculty just confirm my Lightroom is seen?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Visible.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So this is which, okay, wait, I'm going to quickly see your comments. Which one should I go for first? Black Panther or Leopard? Which one do you edit first? So Black Panther or Leopard, guys, tell me on the YouTube chat and I'll quickly click on that and then let's edit that. There might be a little delay, but I hope there's still time. I think we can just spend 2 minutes. Let's make the audience interact, and I want it to be your webinar, right? All the students, faculty of BLDA. Of course, everyone wants the Black Panther. Everyone's saying Black Panther. There's just 2 people saying Leopard, and then everyone else is saying Black Panther. Okay, you guys ask for it. You guys get it. So as I said, right, higher megapixel, greater the crop. If you can see, if I zoom in, I'm seeing grains because the Black Panther is very far away. But still, I can still crop it a little bit so that I don't get the tree bark and everything, right? So let's keep it unlocked. Move this here, bring the Panther to the center. And I think this is a good crop for the Black Panther. So now you're getting the entire environment, of the Black Panther. You can see the trees, you can see everything. And so I never use Photoshop. I never like to over edit. I don't like to, make the image look fake. I always like to just bring colors up, bring little bit more light or less light on the panther or any animal. So that's what I do. And so you can see here, always light, right? See how much light's in the background. So see, if you get it more, then the picture gets white. So now when I reduce it, if you can see, the panther is getting clearer. So I want to always keep a little bit less exposure. Contrast always increase because, you can see the leaves clearer, the colors become a little better. Highlights over here, I want to reduce it because the background of the panther is becoming white. I don't want that. So always get the highlights down. So now you can see the background. Highlights is always for the background, the sun. So get that down and you can see the background is going a little, better. And shadows, I want to increase it because the panther has too many shadows. So get the shadows up and you can see the panther is already looking a little more clearer than before. If you can see the background and everything is matching now. Whites in this, just get it a little up so your whites are popping up. And get your black, of course, down because you want the main guy, Blackie, Saya, as you call him, to be the main celebrity in the image. So in terms of colors, right, here you can see it's too green. So I want to get it always a little bit more towards the pink because, there should be a perfect balance of colors. So colors, it's completely based on you guys, your eyes. You guys get to decide what you guys want to edit. I can tell you about the light, as I said, exposure down, contrast high, highlights depends, shadows depends, whites increase, blacks decrease. So in terms of color, it's completely up to you guys. I like to get the vibrance up and I like to saturate my images. So if you can see, it's already looking so much better. If you can see this to this. And, I'm just going to get the pinks a little down, make it greener. if you can see the difference between unedited to edited. And then effects, always texture. I want to get it a little higher because, I can see clearer. Clarity also increase. Then dehaze, not required for this picture. A vignette. So vignette is again very important because you can get a black, circular frame around your Panther. I'm just going to get it a little, the rest will do manually. So now what we do is we go to detail. So if you can see, if I zoom in too much, you can see the pixels, you can see the grains, right? Now I want to reduce the grains. So what do? I want to make the Panther softer. Something called noise reduction. Remember noise reduction, very important if you want to zoom in. So noise reduction, always increase it. Then the picture becomes softer. Your grains disappear and your picture becomes much softer. So always get your noise reduction. I'm going to keep it somewhere of up to a good, let's see how this works. Okay, yeah, you see it now, the grains have reduced. It's become softer. So the Panther looks a little more dreamy now, right? So hope you guys are seeing this. Hope you guys like it. And so this is my edit, a basic edit. So one very important thing, when you're editing a picture, for me, I always like to get the eye of the cat, the Black Panther, leopard, tiger. It's always very important. So the eye always has to be the most important part of the image. So now there's something called selective edits. You guys have to get Lightroom for photography editing. So Lightroom is the best app for editing, and just use Lightroom. And there's something called, this is selective edits. Okay, it's called selective edits. Remember, selective edits, very useful. So now I'm going to take a brush. Okay, a brush tool in selective edits. There's just plus here. You can click on the brush and you can see the first thing here. I can get the size up or down. And I want a very small brush now because I just want to touch the eye of the Panther. And 1 second, the touch. Yeah, so see, now I've just touched the eye of the Panther. I just want the eye to be in the key of the frame. So it's just the eye now. And we want to, make the eye as popping up. You want the eyes to be special in the image. So in the eye, let's increase the exposure a bit. Let's increase the contrast, decrease the black so the eyeball is still black, increase the whites, increase shadows, and increase highlights. If you zoom out now, see this. So if you can see, 1 second. And let me click 1 second. Let's just say done for this. And let's say done. So if you can see here, you can't see the eye. The eye is very, light. It's almost disappeared into the Panther. But here, the eye is the main thing. It's popping out. You can see the eye clearly. So that is something you should always work with cats. Always selective edits with the cats, and the eye will become more beautiful. So now the final image, you guys see it, not edited, but edited. Only the colors. I'm not making the image fake. I'm not adding Photoshop. I'm not adding another Black Panther or leopard. I'm keeping it very clean, just increasing saturation, decreasing the light, and getting the eye out. So that's basic editing. And let's hope we're not running late on time. Okay, it's 11:46. So let me quickly go and show you the leopard image then. It'll take around 2 minutes because it's not as deep as the Panther. So again, exposure down, you can see, right? The rosettes on the leopard become more, they become clearer. Contrast increase, highlights increase, because see in this, the background, when it's brighter, you can see the shadow on the leopard better. And shadows, again, let's keep it an increase of 14 because, better light on the leopard. Increase the whites, decrease the blacks as usual. As I said, whites increase, blacks decrease. Again, colors completely dependent on you guys, however you guys like them. I'd always like to keep it as however it looks good to the eye as of now. So this is the Chimera male. This was shot 3 days ago, guys. 3 days ago, you guys are the first to see this edit. The Panther I've already posted, but the leopard is new. I still posted on Instagram. You guys are seeing the leopard first. So go ahead and enjoy it because you guys get the premiere of this leopard. And there's a little bit of increase in saturation because, I want to get the leopard's yellow really out. So then let's go to effects, texture, increase, clarity. Let's increase it because it'll look better. No dehaze. Let's bring a little bit of vignette. And time for the most important thing, the eye of the leopard. So let's bring it down to size 1 if you can see. And oops, there's a spot here. Let's erase that. And let's get the eye up. So now we'll be getting the eye into the frame. The eye is going to be the main part. And 1 second, there seems to be an issue where my pen isn't working. We'll figure that out. And let's do it again. 1 second. There you go. It starts working now. And you get the eye. Want to get the other one. Okay, so now that we've selected both the eyes, now what we want to do is increase the exposure. You see the eyes are already getting a little brighter. Increase the contrast a little. Highlights get as high as possible. Shadows as high as possible. Whites increase. Blacks decrease. Whites increase a little more. Exposure increase a bit. Color, always saturation a little more. Get the yellow eyes out, you know. It looks so much better. We can see, right, the difference between the panther and the leopard is much closer. So if you're seeing, okay, wait, I don't know why this happened, but let's get this out. So now if you can see, if I zoom in, the clarity on the eyes is so much better because, you know, I always like the eyes. The eyes of the leopards are the best thing to do, right? It's the most intriguing thing when the leopard or a tiger is looking at you. It's the most beautiful thing ever. So here you see this incredible male, and as I said, on time 11:50, I'm going to be done with the editing. So hope you guys like the editing, and yeah, and that's the chimera male, the leopard, and that's about editing. Any questions about editing? There's some people asking which app I'm using to edit. It's Lightroom, Lightroom by Adobe Lightroom. That's something I use. So note it down always. For me, it's Lightroom, no Photoshop, no Premiere Pro for videos, nothing, just Lightroom. Back to the presentation. Now, all the participants of BLDEA, this is for you guys. Any questions you have, put it down on the chat now. The next part is about the competition, which Murugesh sir and everyone will be repeating again. Whoever's not there in the webinar is going to miss out on this. So the big announcement, in the name of Dr. C.R. Bidri, we are hosting a photography competition. So everyone commenting, everyone chatting, please, please participate. You know, this is something once, I don't know how often it's going to be held in BLDE. We'll definitely try to make it more often. But the first and most unique time, let's make it as big as possible. So we'll be sending you a link where you can upload your image and a caption. So the theme is nature. You can post any pictures. So you can post animals, landscape, flora, flowers, birds, trees, anything nature, right? You can be shot even on your phone. You can shoot it on a phone. You can shoot it on your camera. You can shoot it, and anything, any photo that you've probably taken 3 years ago or now. But we have a plagiarism check. We'll be checking if you're taking pictures from Google. Everything is going to be seen. Pinterest, Google, everything. We always have the way to check the plagiarism, and if you've gotten it from somewhere else. So make sure it's your content. You're sending it to us. You can edit it on Photoshop, edit it in Lightroom. Editing is fine, and you need to have a caption for the image. So it has to be at least like 10 words. You need to have a caption. Something that describes the image or some story that you want to tell us. So you need to mention which. This is only for BLDE students and faculty. Let me repeat, only BLDE students and faculty. You need to mention which campus in BLDE and which course, and then only will be considering your entry. We'll have to double check on that. And the date for last submission, 6th February. Today is the 2nd. You have 5 days. Today, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th to submit your pictures. So submit it by the 6th night, and after 6th, we won't be taking any more entries. So 6th February 2021 is going to be the final day for submission. So I see 891 people live on YouTube. This is the eye catcher. So this is sponsored by Koti Vriksha Abhiyan Pratishtan, the trust, and they are sponsoring all the prizes for this photography competition. Top 10 winners will win saplings and signed T-shirts from Shri M.B. Patil. They'll be winning T-shirts with the SPPA and Koti Vriksha Abhiyan logo, and maybe with one of my pictures printed on them as well. And the third place wins 3,000. Second place 5,000. And first place, the best picture, 10,000 rupees, along with a sapling and a signed T-shirt. So incentive is yours. Participate, please do participate, and you can upload one image, one caption, and you're gonna have to mention your age, your email ID, and the results will be announced on 9th. Remember, 10,000 rupees is up for grabs, a total prize pool of 18,000 and 10 saplings and signed T-shirts. So any submission after 6 will not be considered. One image. Again, if you want any help of mine, DM me on Instagram, Dhruv Patil _photography. So I'll be giving you my ID again, Dhruv Patil _photography. So submit it by 6th February. The link will be in the next slide, and results will be announced on 9th February. 10,000 rupees. With this, I'll conclude my webinar. The link for the competition is bit.ly/SPPA photo. And hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys learned about wildlife. Hope you guys learned about the safari. Hope you guys learned about editing. And let's see who's going to take the prize of 10,000 rupees and a sapling to plant in their house. The link again is bit.ly/SPPA photo. And the final entry is 06/02/2021, 6th of February 2021. So now I think I'll just go through a few questions that they've sent. Okay, so my Instagram is Dhruv Patil _photography. Dhruv Patil photography. So I'll just answer 2 to 3 questions. Can you tell us any book name which included good information about wildlife? So I'd always say read these guides about India. So there's Birds of the Indian Subcontinent and Birds of India by Inskip Brothers and Salim Ali. Read those, very helpful. Submitting photos, bit.ly/SPPA photo. Open this link, we'll be sending it through WhatsApp. You guys can win 10,000 rupees and a sapling. So upload your images, and let's just go through if any questions are there. And so which apps are best for editing? I always use Lightroom. Someone's asked if Snapseed and PixArt are good. Yes, you can edit in any app, but for me, I always like Lightroom because of the user friendliness. So yeah, and let's check any more doubts. Okay, is auto ISO good or manual like Max 6400? So always use auto ISO. Never use auto ISO. Sorry, completely sorry. Never use auto. Always use somewhere between 100 to 500 in good lighting, and always use the 1,000 to 5,000 in bad lighting. Never use manual ISO. I always use I always use manual. Never use auto ISO because you want the lighting to be perfect. So always use manual. Just you can set it however you want. And let's go check. Do we get all the wild animals in India? No, you don't. You only have tigers, leopards, you have the Asian lions, you have Asiatic elephants. You don't have cheetahs here. You don't have the African rhinos. They're only Indian rhinos. You don't have the African elephants. You don't have the African lions. You don't have gorillas in India. So yeah, and I'm going to the comments. Thank you for all the nice comments. Let's check any more questions. I'll be answering just 2 more questions, and then I guess we're taking too much time. Anyone has any more questions, please, let me know, and I'll be happy to answer. And All right. So again, if you have any more questions, I'm able to see only pick the questions about Lightroom and like my Instagram ID. So yeah, I've given you all of that. And if you have any more questions, Dhruv Patil _ photography, it's there on the main slide. You can see it here. Dhruv Patil photography. DM me there, and I'll be able to help you guys. Submit it by the 6th of February. bit.ly/SPPA photo. And thank you so much, guys. Hope you enjoyed this session. And I'd love to meet with you guys in person. So one day that will happen. And bit.ly/SPPA photo. See you guys. I love to see your pictures. I'd love to judge them. And let's see who wins the 10,000.
Dhruv, just a small clarification necessary.
Sure, sir.
People want to know, like, is it mandatory to have the photographs clicked very much in BLE campus, or is there any kind of restrictions that it has to be a wildlife photography itself, or anything of that?
So the theme is nature photography, and it does not have to be in the BLD campus. You can be in Kabini, you can be in Africa, you can be in America, you can be in Dubai. You can shoot anywhere you want. You don't have to be in BLD. You can have shot it 2-3 years ago. It's fine, but it has to be your image because we're going to be checking it. It has to be your image, and it can be anything, but you need to submit it by the 6th of February. And it can be anything, but in the theme of nature, animals. It can be landscape. It can be birds. It can be flowers. It can be anything, but it has to be nature themed and anywhere, anytime.
Okay. Last quick question.
Sure, sir.
Do ex-students of BLD can participate in the?
Yeah, let it be ex-BLD students also is fine. Ex-BLD is fine because it's still part of BLDA. So BLD faculty can also participate. BLD students, ex-BLD and BLD students, the present BLD students as well. Everyone can participate. I'll be more than happy to see your pictures, and I'll be more than happy to judge them. So with that, I think we'll come to the end of our session, with the end of our webinar, a one-of-a-kind webinar held in BLDE. I'm more than honored, sir. Thank you, BLE faculty, for this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. R.D. Kulkarni, sir. Thank you, Dr. Murgesh Patanchetti. Thank you, Anand Patilana, for getting the entire thing set up and ready on 2nd February. So my big thanks to all of you guys. Thank you.
Okay, now, thank you very much, Dhruv. I think forget about students. Now there will be a big competition among the faculties. No, till today, nobody has identified there will be this kind of a thing. So you have enlightened all the people who have attended this webinar. So even personally speaking, I'll start photographing. Now our biggest the man-made forest of Bijapur. Now you can find so many people will come and start photographing in that place, right? Thanks a lot. And even it was a very wonderful session. The kind of aperture and even lightning and editing of photos. Oh, I was not doing that. I had little bit things I have learned from you earlier also. And this session was very eye-opening session for most of the faculties and students. Maybe some interested. I think many interested students will come and they try to register with their photographs. So hope students will start working as on this occasion and start going for a photography and all. Maybe this session can also, as you said, there might be some people will become like a Shazing also.
There are many students being possible. Everyone has the talents. Just explore them. Use whatever experience they can get, and they might be the next Shaz Jung.
Yeah. And even not only Shazing, better than Shazing also. So this is a very good platform we have given, where people can begin their career in wild photography or photography and even editing. Thank you very much, Dhruv. And last but not the least, now let me conclude this event by giving a vote of thanks. Now, dear all, I take this pleasure in presenting vote of thanks of the people who are behind this event. Let me take this in an opportunity to thank the backbone or the president of our BLD association, Dr. M.B. Patil sir, who has provided us an opportunity to organize such a big event for the staff and students of BLD Association. Thank you very much, sir, for your great presence and your valuable words. And at the same time, even I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Asha Patil madam for giving information about some unknown information about the Dr. C.R. Bidri. He was a sports athlete, ran along with the Milkha Singh of India, and he is a nature lover, dog lover, animal lover, and Madam called him as a nature man also. Thank you very much, Madam, for your greatest presence on this occasion. And I also take this an opportunity to thank the administrator of a BLD association, R.V. Kulkarni sir, who is backbone of this event. For since last 7-8 days, we know that the kind of a brainstorming what we have done for this event. Thank you very much, R.V. Kulkarni sir. And I take this opportunity thanking all the principals, HODs, and the directors of BLD Association institutions, and not only that, even teachers who are made students to attend this event and gain some knowledge out of this event. And also thank the students of BLD Association who have been a part of this event. And I take this opportunity. There are some people who are working behind. And I think you have seen M.B. Patil sir, you have seen Asha Patil madam, you have seen Ravindra Kulkarni sir, you have seen me on the screen, and you have seen Dhruv Patil sir also. But there are some two techie hunks are there with us who are been a big support for this event. I would like to take the name of two of these techie hunks. One is Anand Patil, and the second is Dr. Chidanand Bahati, who has made this all technical arrangements of this webinar today. Thank you, Anand, and thank you, Chidanand. And I would like to take an opportunity to thank one and all who have worked for this event, on the screen, off the screen. And I would like to thank finally people who are been a part of this event. And thanks a lot. That's all from my end. The session is over now.